The story begins last fall when a contractor doing some utility site work for the Niagara Falls Water Board in advance of it replacing a main water line here made a discovery.
According to the DEC, it was a chemical odor in the ground. State Assemblyman Angelo Morinello, who represents this area, says he then got a visit from the DEC commissioner.
Explained to me that they had been alerted that there's a potential issue dealing with contaminants on the one end of the island.
The agency says testing revealed traces of chemicals in excess of what they're comfortable with for residential areas, and contaminants which may be consistent with industrial fill, which their records show was used to build out the far western part of the island in the 1950s and 60s. Out of what it calls an abundance of caution, the DEC seeks to get onto people's properties to do additional testing. Morinello hopes residents will cooperate.
You know, as an attorney, I was always taught, identify the problem, come up with a solution. If you can't identify the extent of the issue, you're not going to come up with a solution.
But not all residents are on board.
Absolutely not.
Gary Delora is a former FBI agent with a background in metals and organic compounds and says he was involved with a lot of the Bureau's work surrounding the Love Canal disaster in the 70s and 80s. He also says he did his own investigation when he bought property here 30 years ago, and that soil tests then and since have found compounds at no higher levels than you'd find elsewhere in this historically industrial city.
There is nothing that they found that is damaging, that the people have to worry about.
Nor did it seem to be a worry for these guys over here digging in the ground without any protective clothing.
On your side in Niagara Falls, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.